Hello everyone, paper trading here. I'm going to enter a Netflix put based on a bearish engulfing candle. I'm going to go with the 365s. This is definitely risky because it is today's expiration. Go with the 365s. I'm going to go with 3 contracts at a big spread there. I don't like that big spread. We have to do next week's expiration. Yeah, big spreads. Let's try next week's expiration. Let's go with the 360s and hope I can get in on time before it drops too much. Yeah, we're still good. I'm only going to do one contract on this one because of the price. We're 345 by 360. Let's do a 350. Okay, we got in at 350. You see an actual trade it even when it crossed at 350, so that would have been, remember this is a paper account, but the actual 350 print went across at about the same time right here. So I would have got filled at that 350 with my real account. Target, I'm looking down here around the 365 level for a target, but I'd probably let it go before that because we don't really have that good of a defined target. The next real support level would probably be about here, 365.14, based off of this high here, and then about a 363.98. So I don't really have that well of a defined target. I have a pivot. I like to use pivots for targets, but there's too far of a drop, and I'm not going to be greedy enough to go all the way down here. So we're going to see what we can get. We're trading it. Bid is at 380 right now. My entry was 350, so I'm almost up 10%. We're coming down to the 366 level. This is kind of a support level here, the low of day. So I'm looking to see if we drop below 366. So let's keep an eye on it and see what happens here. This is the first trade I've made today. I had an alert on Tesla at the open, but I did not enter that one. It was a bearish engulfing on the opening candle, but it was a pretty big red candle, and I didn't want to jump in and chase. However, it did continue to drop, so that would have been a nice winner. We also had one on Twitter. I tried to get in that one as a bearish engulfing also. I tried to get in on that one, but my paper trade platform was kind of hung up, and my options chain showed NA all crossed it. I had to reboot my Thinkorswim, and by the time it came back up, there was already a big red candle, so I couldn't get in on that one. So but that would have been a nice one for sure. So there's checking my phone here real quick. Okay. I know the Traders Council chat room, Davis took SPY calls at the open right out of the gate. It did pull back on him. He was down, but I'm looking at it right now. He's just about back to even. He is pretty much even right now. So and it's still going up for him, so that might work out for him. He's a little bit in the green right now, so So I think he said he was 4 for 4 this week on his SPY trades, and he was looking for another win today to end the week 5 for 5. And my wife's texting me right now. There's a car accident right down the street, and they're going to shut the power off to replace the telephone pole. So hopefully I don't lose electric. And that leads to another tip. Anytime you're trading, make sure you have your phone, the mobile app on your phone, and have it ready to go when you're in a trade. Because if you happen to lose power, whether it's a storm or whatever, I don't know what they're going to do with ours. It's about 2 blocks from here. I guess the telephone pole's down, and the electric company is going to come replace the telephone pole. I may lose electric. I would not want to lose electric while I'm in the middle of a trade with no way to get out. So make sure you have your phone app ready to go, or at a minimum have an OCO order in. One cancels the other. Have a sell order for your target and also a sell for your stop. I don't like putting automatic stops in place. I think I talked about it before. I think on the level 3, I think market makers can see those stops, and they'll purposely push it down to take out your stop and collect your cheap shares or contracts. So I don't like to set automatic stops, but if you're going to lose electric, or there's if you're trading, there's a bad storm, there's a chance you might lose electric, and you don't have access to a mobile app, I would definitely set a stop, just in case you lose electric. I would hate to be in a trade and lose electric, and an hour later it comes back on and find out I'm down 50%. So I always have my phone next to me. I always have it ready to roll, just in case. And you can do the paper trading on your mobile app too. So, but just in case I lose power, I got a bullish engulfing on Tesla alert and a bearish engulfing on Facebook alert. Let's take a look here. I'll show you Twitter while we're waiting on this. Twitter. This is where I tried to enter. My entry would have been either the close of this candle or the opening of this candle, and this was the result. The problem is my options chain was all froze up and said NA across every part of it. My target would have been this pivot point. It would have been a nice, I looked at it, would have been about a 25% win, based on, I forget which one I was looking at, but it was, the entry would have been 40 cents and it hit 50 cents. So that would have been one. Let's take a look at Facebook. Let's see, bearish engulfing. I got the bearish engulfing alert. So the entry would have been right about here. Target would have been this pivot. Probably could have got 10% on that. I don't know. I'd have to look and see. Why is Tesla not showing up on here? Trying to get. Come on. Tesla. This was the bearish engulfing I talked about at the open, but I didn't want to chase it that far down, and if you look, that would have been a really nice play. Although we did have support here. Let's go back and check Netflix. See if we lost that level yet. Yeah, see, we're holding that 200 simple moving average, and a good chance we will continue to hold it. I can sell it now for about a 6% win. Let's see. I'm not going to let this one get too red on me. Looking over, Davis sold his calls, his SPY calls. He paid 88, sold them for 94. So he got about 7%. He's a base hit trader. He takes a lot of 5 to 8% wins. Usually keeps his stops pretty tight. So I see he entered at 88, sold at 94. So that's 6 cents. That's probably about 7%. So anybody is interested in checking him out and following his trades, go to thetraderscouncil.com and sign up, and you can see what that's all about. Jeff Williams does the small cap account. I've watched him 3 times take a $5,000 account. The first time he took it to 26,000, I think, in a few months. The second time he took it to I think it was 16,000, and the third time he got it up to about 49,000, and ended up closing the account out when it was, I think, around 35,000. He had a few losses, and that was all within 1 year. So he did all that. What do you have? $60,000 maybe in profits off a $5,000 account in 1 year. He started over again with a $2,000 account, and he had it up to, I think, about 5,000, but I'm not sure what he's at now. I know he had he had a little bit of struggle there, which everybody does. I think he was down to just over $1,000. I think that was a couple weeks ago, and I think the other day he said he was at 1,600. And I'm not sure. I don't follow the small caps, so I don't know exactly what his account is. He shows his account right on the screen, so there's no, it's fully transparent. You can see at any time how much is in his account, what he's holding, how many shares he's holding. But he pretty much trades, for the most part, anything under about $3, but most of his trades are probably under $1.50. And he holds overnight mostly. The majority of his positions he buys right before the close and sells the open the next morning, or will sell pre-market the next morning. He uses a margin account. He does not use his margin, but has a margin account, so the money's available immediately when he sells. And using that strategy, there's no pattern day trade rule to worry about. He can do that every day and not have any restrictions. So it works out really well. I don't like trading the smaller caps. I used to trade them when I first started. In fact, when I first started trading in 2013, I started with Jeff Williams, and I was trading penny stocks. And I did pretty good at it. I had some success with it, but I started trading options and really liked options, and went and started doing that. I've also traded futures. I really like trading futures. I'd like to get back into trading futures, but for now I'm gonna work on kind of perfecting my chart reading before I get back into futures. When I traded futures, I never, not once, ever held overnight. When I say overnight, futures trade pretty much 24/7 or 24/5. I didn't hold past the close, which I think was like 5:30 p.m. Eastern. That was pretty much the close in the market. It would close for like a half hour, and that was considered overnight. Okay, we're getting some movement here. Let's see what kind of support level we have. I'm going to call 365 even as my target. If I had more than one contract, I would hold or sell one and hold, or sell most, whatever, and hold another. Let's see if we get down to that 365. In fact, I'm going to put a sell order in for about 435. Let's see if we get down and hit that. And that might be a little bit aggressive. change that to 425 because I don't want to get too far away. Change that to 425. And we're getting close. Remember my entry was at 350. So one more little push down. I said 365 was going to be my target. I might have to move this again. I'm still not. I don't know how this isn't real accurate, but this is showing below 365, and I don't want it to be below 365. Let's change this to 420. And that should put me right about at 365. This isn't really real accurate, so you can't really base it off of that. We did have trades triggered at 410, 415. So 415 is our high. Maybe another push down here. Need to see some red here. Now when I did this yesterday, I wasn't recording it live, so I was bouncing around. And I think at one time I was in like 3 trades. So it made it a little bit tough, but right now this is the only trade I'm in. I'm not in any trades in my live account, my real account. So this is the only trade I shouldn't say the only trade. I do have Qs and Microsoft from the other day. This is the Twitter trade. I did enter it. I said I didn't. I did enter it because I had to restart my software, and I hit the buy button, and by the time I realized I hit it, that big red candle had already triggered, and I bought at the bottom of the big red candle, so I closed it right away. So technically I did make a trade, but for our purposes I didn't, because there was a problem with the software, and I really shouldn't have been doing that. You see I'm up $39 right now on that Netflix. I'm going to close, but actually I'll probably just let these expire because they're not really worth anything, and I wouldn't have let them get that far away from me if it was real money. But they were trades where I was following another trader. I haven't been fun. In fact, I didn't even look at his thing today. I don't know if he ever even sent any alerts out today. I was following another trader, and I kind of found that he was actually looking at the same type of things I was looking at. So I'm just reading the work email right now. Okay, so yeah, I was following this other trader, and it seems like he looks at a lot of the same things I look at, and our entries are very similar. I'm going to get out of this trade because I don't like what it's doing here. I'll try getting out of $4. That's still over 10%. You know what, actually it's starting to come back down, so I'm going to cancel that. And I might regret that, but we're getting some more. I didn't like how the stochastics were curling up and we had a green candle here. So let's go with a 415 exit. And if I see any indication that we're going to start to pop back up, I'm just going to get out of it. And this is what you call greed, and this is what I shouldn't be doing. But I still think we come down and touch that 365. I don't like the stochastics curling up though. It's hard to do a live trade like this because it makes the video so long. I'm gonna have to try to play around with some video editing software to try to shorten this up to edit it and cut out some of this. So We don't have a half hour of me sitting here trying to find something to talk about while we're waiting for my sell to hit. Um, but with that being said, I think I'm gonna close this trade. Let's see how close we're getting. 405. The 365.50 seems to be offering some support. Like I said, we don't really have a defined target because there's no pivots close to this. This is the closest pivot, and it's way down here, and that's just not realistic, at least for the way I trade. I don't want to hold them that long. Let's go ahead and try to get out of this at $4. That's still going to be about a 15% winner. That's the problem when you have spreads like this. I mean, I could do a market sell and get out at 390. That'd still be 10%. Another push to the downside here to trigger this. And that might do it. Let's see. Actually, 402 printed, and my sell order is at $4. The bid is at $4. So this will go through. It already would have if it was real money, and it will on this account. It will on this. There it goes. It's sold at 405. So the paper trade, it's not perfect, but it's still good to use. So that trade went for $3.50 to $4. I'm going to call it $4 because that's what my bid was at. 0.5 divided by 350, 14.2% win. It's only $55, but when you're trading a $5,000 account, $55 a day is not too bad. So let me see if I have any other alerts. Oh yeah, we got a bunch of alerts that popped up. I'm looking at my email account to show what alerts. We have bearish engulfing on Spotify, bullish engulfing on Baidu. So Spot was a bearish engulfing right here. We're still holding those levels right at a pivot point. And Baidu was a bullish engulfing right off a support level. This would have been a good one to get in. Entry would have been right about here. So let's take a look and see what that would look like. Baidu calls. Let's take a look at these calls here because there's quite a bit of volume on it today. These are today's expirations, so they will move pretty quick. Entry would have been at the open of the 10:15 candle. So entry would have been about $1.55, and they made it to $1.80. So that's 25. That's, I don't know, 15%. 25 divided by 155. 16% on that one. So that would have been another nice one. And it's still climbing. I did hit that would have been my target here, so I would have at least sold out of most of them. I probably would have only got 2 contracts. I would have sold one of them here for sure. Maybe both just to get out of it and take the 16% or 15, whatever it would have been. So, anyway, that's it for today. I have my, this is my watch list right here. This is what I'm going off of, and I have it linked so when I click on one, it automatically changes here. You can set your links right here. This little, it's hard to see because of the color. Set it to whatever number and color you want, and then I come over here and I do the same here. did I set it at? Expand this out a little bit. Right here. Set it here so they're the same, so they're matching. And I also did the same on, shrink this back down. I did the same on here. I set this same thing up here. So when I click on anything here, it automatically changes my options chain and my chart. Now I can't do it to change this because this is actually a different chart. I wish I could link these together, but if I set this to match to the 4, the green, it's going to bring up the same thing this does. So I still have to go in here, come down here, right click, more info, TOS charts, and click on that, and then it'll come up over here. It's a lot of extra steps. I wish I didn't have to do it. I mean, I could also just do this. I could just come in here and say, okay, I want to buy these. And that's a lot of times what I do. I'll just do this. I have a default set to 2 contracts. Maybe I might want to do 3, but it's just one click to get to that. So a lot of times, if it's something that's going to move quicker, I'll come in here and I'll just do this, hit confirm and send, and once the trade goes through, then I'll do this. I'll do this after I'm in the trade, so it brings it up over here, so it's easier to follow. But just another little tip. My watch list is here. I have my alerts set. I don't want to show you my email. Well, you know what? I could probably open one of them and pull it over. This is what the email looks like. I get an email. Alert on Baidu when bullish engulfing is true. So and it sends the same text out to my phone too. So I get it on my phone and on my email both. I have my email up on my other monitor, so when an alert comes up, I can see it on there. I don't have to play around with my phone. I do look at it on my phone as well, but it's easier just having it up on a separate window in my email. And it comes through pretty quickly, so it's not like you have to sit and wait for 5 minutes. There's not like a big lag. What I do usually though is I know this candle's gonna close in 30 seconds. So just before a candle closes, I'll come in and I'll do this. I see we have a bullish engulfing here, so that's one that I know I'm gonna have to watch. Nothing for this one as of yet. Nothing on Tesla. Bullish engulfing on Baba. Nothing on Baidu. Nothing on Shop. Nothing on Twitter. Nothing on Apple. Let me pull up my email because I got a Netflix bullish engulfing and a Baba bullish engulfing. Let's take a look at the Baba again. Maybe we'll do something on this one. Let's take a look at Netflix. Let's just, for the fun of it, let's do Baba entry. Let's do today's calls at, you know what, I'm gonna do next week's because I don't like that it's this far away from the support level already. So let's do next week so it doesn't move quite as fast. This one looks like a good one. I'm gonna do 2 contracts, confirm and send. Bottom at 210, so now I'll do this. So it'll bring it up over here so it's easier to watch. My entry is at 210. It's 212 by 215 right now, which we can see right here. And I'm going to end this video because it's getting a little bit long now, but you can keep an eye on this. It's 10:26 right now, 10:26 a.m. I just entered this on the 10:25 candle. So you can follow along when you watch this video later and see where it ended up. I'll post. I'll try to put in the comments section what I ended up, what ended up happening with this. My stop out will be. Remember, in a golfing pair, your stop is a close below the lowest of these two candles. So 183.06, which is pretty much right where this pivot is. So if I get a close below this pivot, which would coincide with the close below this candle, I get a close below this pivot, I'm going to stop out. My target will be, since I don't really have a defined target, 185.04 is the next pivot, and that's too far to expect it to go. My target's going to be 10%. When I hit 10%, I'm going to sell one contract, and I'll hold the other contract to see where it goes from there. And I won't let that contract go red on me. We had a piercing line on Spotify that just came up. Let's take a look at that one. Oops. Spotify, we got a piercing line alert, which is this one. Remember, a piercing line, the candle opens below the close of the previous candle and closes more than halfway above, and it's right on support. I'm going to go ahead and do this one too. I'm going to do Spotify calls. We're going to do this one here. I'm going to put my bid at 260, one contract. And we'll do the same with that if it fills. What I like about Spotify is this stop. It's pretty close to my entry, so it wouldn't be a big loss. My target will probably be here, which will be high of day slash, I guess it might have been yesterday's high and today's high both. So I'm going to end this video, but keep an eye on both of these, Spotify and Baba. I'm in both of them. I'm down $10 on a Baba trade and still haven't got filled on the Spotify. And if this continues to go up and doesn't pull back, I'm going to cancel the Spotify entry. Not entry, but order. So that's it for today. Maybe I'll do a follow-up later on today, just to kind of cover what happened. If not, I'll see everybody Monday. All right, thanks, later.